Hello, everyone. We have a gentleman here today, much traveled. He's familiar in terms of name brand, uh, and seeing that we have so many teams that he's played for, and I'm gonna give him most of the time here. And so, without further ado, I'll ask him to introduce himself, give us his background. And I'll try to interject because, as I said, he's much traveled. So I will try to feel my way around all his indulgence and all his career choices. I'll ask you to introduce yourself and give a little of your background. You know.
Hi, good afternoon, Mitchell. How are you? My name is Rene Martin. I'm Canadian born, Trinidad parents. My dad and my mom both from Trinidad. I grew up in Scarborough, playing in Scarborough all my life pretty much until my 1920s. I started playing soccer, I want to say at Lebanon Park with all the boys from back in the day, watching Irie play, and on Saturdays we're at the park with the kids and just running all over the place. And I want to say that's exactly where I learned to love the sport more. It was back then, we're what, I think it was 6, 7 years old, watching you guys play, and then we'd be doing our own thing on the field and run to McDonald's, come back to the park and hanging out and running back to McDonald's, going to the variety store. And I grew up learning and loving the sport for soccer from, I want to say, Lebanon Park, the Irish tournament days. Um, Growing up, I played with my first team was Middle Caledonia. Well, Middle Caledonia transferred to Blizzard. I played Blizzard for maybe 3, 4 years, and then I found my home at Gilwood. That's where I met Baite and Warren and the Elvises of the world. We played against them. They played for Rexar, I played for Gilwood. We played for Gilwood for almost all my, I want to say for from at least 10, 11 to almost 17 years old. Yeah, pretty much. All my childhood, I pretty much played for Gilwood. Um, Played against the likes of Chris Hanser and Craig McSkimmings and Richard Alexanders of the world, and it's just all these guys now. It's funny, all these guys now we played against, we're all still good friends with that we grew up together. So it was like I want to say those are the most memorable moments of playing soccer because all these guys now that we played against then and play with, we were all still good friends. It
So
was good. It was a good time.
okay. Within that time, seeing that I had Baete and all these guys now, within that time, you're rivaling each other. Now we realize you guys are back together at the older age. What was your vision then in terms of seeing that you had upbringing with Flemo, Irie? What was your vision to play big ball or just enjoying the game for the love of the game? Or was there anybody around you that you could see going far and you wanted to follow that footstep, getting serious in the soccer?
It's funny you said because I think growing up, there wasn't no. I won't say I had a high vision of the game. I love the sport, and for me it was just like as a kid growing up, yeah, you want to play, you want to be on the national team, you want to do this, it's we want those things. It's just like they're attainable at that time. So I think for me at that point, it was just more of the enjoyment of playing soccer, the competitiveness, um, you know, uh, the scholarship avenue, stuff like that. It was never envisioned where I'd actually be right now with the sport itself and the things I've accomplished. The things I've accomplished and things I've done, I would have never thought that I would reach that point where I played against who I played against in the
Okay.
type. You know what I mean? So
So seeing that you had the love of the game, and it sounds to me that it's whatever comes from, you're enjoying your camaraderie with your teammates and the rivalry with the guys maybe from school or whatever in different teams, and you're going, winning, losing, that's the excitement then, right? And then that's
yeah,
where you show your form, and then somebody would see you or whatever. Within
yeah.
that time now, how who start looking at you, where you start getting, because I'm looking forward to when I saw you at certain time. When did you start to pick up, who start looking at you, who brought you into the to that zone? right?
So actually, it's funny because I want to say it was still in the grassroots time, the 18, 17, 18, 19 years. There were always select teams that always went to the Dallas Cup, the Wales Cup, Bermuda Cup, and all the guys I played with always, they were always going, and I'm like, it was that moment. I'm like, hey, I would love to go to Dallas Cup to hear about the stories and all the fun they had and all that stuff, um, and finally in my year, yeah, when I was 18 years old, Ken Dawson, I finally got scouted by Ken Dawson to go play in the Dallas Cup and Bermuda Cup and got to experience all the accolades of playing for the NSL selects. Because all the boys, all my friends, all the guys I play with, they always play for NSL selects. And Dawson, when Dawson did pick me for the NSL selects finally, he's like, the one thing, and I'll never forget this, he said, the reason, he's like, he's been watching me from time. The reason he never actually picked me up was because my aggression habits. I was a hard knock player. I was passionate about the game, so my passion sometimes went overboard.
All
And
right.
it took me to a place where it wasn't pleasant on the field, right? So yeah, I got my share of, I can't lie, I got my share of red cards back in the day, and I think that's why. And it's funny, Dawson, anytime you get disciplined, who was at the head of the table? Dawson. So that's why he always saw me there, so he never actually picked me up. And then he finally said, you know what, you finally at U18, I've seen a different side of you, you've calmed down a little more, you're still that aggressive kid, but you've refined it a little. So he finally decided to pick me up, and got to go to Dallas Cup, went to Coral Springs. I went to 2 Florida tournaments, Dallas Cup and Bermuda Cup, and that's where that started. That's
What, seeing that you mentioned the aggression and still going into competition and the maturity factor that they saw that development curve in you for the public consumption. What was your position?
I'm a defender. I started left back. So they had no left when I was younger. They had no left back when I played for Blizzard, and I said I'll go play left back. So I was a left back. That's where I started, and that's where I stayed all through my career.
But later on, I think I saw you playing central back.
Yeah. So at 19 years old, I went to try for Scarborough Asheville's first so-called professional team. Made the team. That's how I met George Amua. George was my coach for almost 15 years. He felt me playing on the left side, didn't utilize my whole game, so he put me in the middle of the park. So I ended up playing stopper sweeper.
Okay, for youths now out there, there's a transition. It's not a big transition because it's still in the back 4-3 or whatever coach decided at that time. What did you think happened to your game, or was it just a void in the organization? That transition you made from a wing back to stopper, it's two different responsibilities. Did you feel that in your game, or was it just a void in the organization, the team that you were playing it? Or did you feel that your game came together that you could have handled Central?
I felt like it. So when I went to Asheville, I was 19. I was still, I just came out of, the NSL and all stuff. So I was 19, 20, and I was new to the Scarborough Asheville. It was the semi-pro team. And George, my coach, he asked me what position I play. I said left back. And I guess he kind of watched me and saw my movement. And he's like, no, he's like, no, my son, you better in the middle. I'm like, in the middle? I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And then at that time, a year later, Tobo came. So I ended up playing beside Tobo. So that made my
That's Patrick Tobo.
Patrick Tobo, yeah. So that made my transition to playing in the middle. It became a lot easier because I have a superstar beside me that kind of guided me and helped me to that transition made it a little better. So it was, my game evolved from there, playing in the middle. I was so used to having. Sorry,
so how did you and Tobo play? Pivoting or one stay behind and one in front?
We pivoted. Good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started going back. If I remember in the preamp, you mentioned being around Coach George in Astros for about 14, 15 years. Correct. What within those 15, what's the timeline when you switch from the wing back to the stopper? Very early, midway?
very early. Like as soon as I shot up for Astros, our first game, I immediately played in the middle. My first game as a semi-pro, played stopper sleeper in the middle. George pretty molded me into the player I am today, which I thank him. He was without him, I wouldn't be the player I am today. He took that hard knock, aggressive soccer player when I was younger,
Yeah.
and molded me into a more refined, hard knock aggressive player, but still have both types. So now I could play, and now I still have the aggression. So it's both best of both worlds. So he did a he did a good job on me because without him I wouldn't be the player I am today.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah. So he
how you find the competition? That was what, CPSL or CSL?
CNSL. It was a CNSL. So
CNSL.
Winnipeg. So that competition actually. So that just Winnipeg Fury. If you remember, they were in the professional league at the time. So the professional league, I think that year before, 2 years it broke up. So you Winnipeg Fury still want to play competitive. So they were still in the league at that time. So they were still very obviously a very good team. Competition is good. I'm 19 years old. I'm willing to embrace anything. The competition is high against Toronto Italias, the Winnipeg Furies, the Jets. Like you're talking about the cream of the crop at that time from all the ballers coming up into that because it's a new league. It's the first year they're having the CNSL. So all the ballers from everyone who was a baller was in that league. And I'm a 19 fresh fine. I'm still wet behind years, just trying to do my thing. And the competition was great. I embraced all. It was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. Especially playing in the back there, it was just I was always a stay-at-home defender. So back in the day, I didn't know nothing about going forward and playing, and I was just your defense. You don't go past center line as a younger guy. Like we never overlap nothing. So being now with George, who's from Uruguay, he's like, no, we play. Anytime I have the ball, everybody we play. We don't sit back here and the plan. You play. So my game just evolved from just being a stay-at-home defender to having good feet to being to push forward and overlap through the middle and just
So
it was good.
for me to get my bearings now, with your timelines, when would you say, around what year you think that whole, and the reason why I'm asking that now is because I want to bring you back into the community ball to see if
Mm-hmm.
either overlap, if within that time you were with the Astros, you were competing in the community, to see if I can have a little balance of how you think of the whole thing. So around what time you went with the Astros?
90, about 92,
About 92.
92. Yeah.
Okay. So that time, that was the new generation for the, let's say, the Irie tournament. Did you play in the Irie
Yeah.
tournament prior to going
Yeah.
to the Astros?
So I did. I played with Everton. So I played in the Maverick League as well. The Maverick League that was out of Nielsen the Park there with Everton, all the teams there. So Everton Scarborough Caribbean one year. I think the first time I played in tournament was with Scarborough Caribbean.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Man, all those guys, yes. So I played Roderick, Sheldon, Andwele, Adrian, Greg Parker, all the boys who grew up in the Irie environment. I played them in the Irie tournament for the first time. I think that was the very first time I played in it. And the second year I played with Everton.
Okay, that's what
Yeah.
because once you give me that timeline, that's when the Scarborough Caribbean, the youth got matured,
Yes.
and they were
Yes,
keeping
exactly.
the tournament.
Yes.
And the Everton came around 95. So
Yes.
yeah, so now we got the timeline. Now, prior to that, now you mentioned the Flemo, we'll get back to that. But were you going to the tournament? I guess your dad coaching or whatever. I guess you.
Yeah.
So what you thought about the Irie
Oh,
environment, seeing
I
that you
love that
watched it
tournament.
and you end up playing in it?
Yeah, honestly, the tournament's like it's the best tournament. I love going to that tournament as a child. I love being around the atmosphere. The atmosphere was just always electric. There was music playing. I grew up in that background. The soca, the steel pan, the music, the lime, the drinks, the fetting, like just the whole atmosphere of the Irish tournament was just it was always electric. It was exciting. It was always something going on. The games are always exciting. Teams from Montreal would come down, teams from Ottawa. Just being around there was just I love being, and it's sad to say that I wish our generation, like my generation, we continued it and didn't let it like it's. I think it should be something that it should have been a staple that because we've been there so long. Like
Mhm.
maybe the Roderick's of the world, myself, we should have continued the whole Irie tournament and just let it keep going and just invite new teams and just keep doing it. It's sad that we don't have that no more. Um, it's funny. I talk to Free. I got to speak to Godfrey all the time about it. I'm like, Free, we need to, even bring that back somehow. That whole West Indian weekend was a Saturday. You bring teams from all over, and we have the Irie tournament, and bring young teams to play the halftime. Because remember, young teams used to play the little halftime games,
Yeah, yeah.
all those things. I mean, it's something I talk to them a lot of times. We need to bring that back, bring that atmosphere back because that's what we grew up in. That's what I know. Like that Saturday, I can't remember what Saturday was, but I remember it was the same Saturday every year,
Yeah.
Irie tournament,
Long
and it
weekend.
was this long weekend. It was amazing.
So, but when you guys, I would say, I wouldn't say had the opportunity, but when you start playing with the Scarborough and normally that's how the transition takes place too, when you with the Scarborough. But Mr. Manswell was the one, Coach Manswell was the one there with the
Yeah,
Scarborough, and he was already
yeah,
built in with the tournament. But when by
yeah.
the time you went Everton, I mean, that is where maybe the teams should have maybe initiate a little bit more
Yes,
to realize they're
absolutely.
the main ingredient of the tournament and get
Exactly.
together and make it happen.
Make it
So
happen. Yeah.
you didn't have that feeling at the time that it either was with a crumble or
No, I did. Actually, I didn't. I thought it'd be honestly. I thought you guys would have run it till you can't run it no more. I literally thought you guys would have just kept going. Big would have kept going. Checky, you guys. I thought it would just you guys would have kept doing it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I mean that wasn't the case, but yeah, I would not. And who would have thought the Irish tournament would have subsided? I would have never thought that. Like it was just one of those things. It was a staple in the Caribbean community. Like
did you went to Astros in 92, and that's the reason why I asked that timeline. I know
mm,
Flemington finished in 92. So that's why I was asking you, what did you do before? Now I know you play with Scarborough Caribbean. Did you ever get a little touch of
a
the part
Flemo?
Flemington?
No. No, never. I think the most I've ever got touched them was when we were younger, and Scarborough Caribbean had a little practices in the morning back in the day when we were younger with
Mm-hmm.
Roger. So we'd get together on a Saturday morning with Scarborough Caribbean, the youths of Irie team, and maybe we'll hold a session with us, and we'll do a little practice here and there, and then but that's about it. Those days of Flemo, I wish those games were exciting too. That was whole atmosphere was just all day long. Just
Yeah.
soca, music, pan, just food, football. You can't go wrong with that. It's a
So
beautiful thing.
why you hitting the local thing now?
Mm.
If I remember correctly, you've been a offspring, I would say, of Unity very
Yes, I
early,
am.
right?
Unity from back in
If
the day.
I
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, you played with Unity also in Malvern?
So that's what I first started with. Lindy Burgess picked me up to come play with Unity, and I think I was young too. I was like 18, 19 maybe at the time, like
Mhm.
right before Astros in that time there. And yeah, I enjoyed playing there. It's again the whole atmosphere, but it was every weekend, not just a weekend. It was every weekend. Again, the whole Caribbean vibe. Men taking beats on the side, the crowd going up and down. You have Lawrence running up and down the sideline with the big Everton flag. It was just the environment was it was beautiful. It was a very nice set. I look forward to the weekend for Malvern tournament. I'm playing with Unity, being the young guy, and I was there with Wayne Caswayne and playing against the Twins and playing against Bay and them they played with. I can't remember who Bay and them played, but again, the atmosphere was always electric. Anytime you get Caribbean people together and there's music and food and just the football, it's always excitement. Always.
So now
Love it. It's always a good
we,
win for me.
we fast forwarded now with the same excitement. We keeping the music running. The DJ
Yes.
still playing, and we going to Thompson Park. Now I seen you at Thompson Park. I saw you
Yes.
not too long ago, but maybe 2 months ago or whatever. How seeing that you have all the atmosphere, the Irie, the Flemo, the Malvern, and now we're dealing with Thompson. How,
Mhm.
how, how are you equating everything? It's still filling a void. How are you
It's
equating
still
everything?
yes, it is. It's still in the void. Thompson, it's a nice relief to see that again. It wasn't. I won't lie. It's not as electrifying as back in the day. But it's still that atmosphere. Like again, the music, the drink, the food, the football. It's still that atmosphere where, like we get to go out and spend the day. Like guys, if you don't get there at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30. like this is pre-COVID, you're not getting a spot in Thompson Park. Like guys are there from 9:30 in the morning till 9 at night, 12 hours, and it's that atmosphere. It's still there, and it's good that we still get to do that. It's I love it. I love it.
So, so
I didn't play there for a while. It's only just what I think I've been there 2 years now, and just to be back in that atmosphere again, I'm like, yes, I can do this. I don't mind the Sunday vibe. This is good.
and here what is ironic about this. I'm gonna ask you now, who are you
I'm playing
playing
with
for?
Unity. I'm back playing with Unity. Yes, I am playing with Unity again. Imagine that, right?
Yeah,
Going
yeah,
full circle. I start with Unity and ending with Unity. A different Unity, but
yeah.
it's still Unity.
Yeah, but when I
Yeah,
asked you who you play with, you said Unity and all. I don't think it's Burgess around there. I don't know. It's a different
no,
Unity. That's
it's a different,
Gibbo.
totally
That's
different
Gib.
Unity.
That's Gibbo. That's Gibbs, right?
Yeah. That's a totally different Unity. But imagine that, still Unity, still
Yeah.
there.
Okay. So now we cover all that now. Caribbean Stars.
Yes.
Now you're playing with Astros. You're city in the CNSL.
Yeah.
The CISL came out, Puma League, and we're trying to get players and stuff. And it's only a while back I figured out what really happened to you or why. Because to me, it seemed like you were wrong at one time when we were putting the team together,
And
and
then I
then
just
you
disappeared.
kind of disappeared. And so what really happened with the whole Caribbean Stars and
So yeah, so you do have me in one picture, I believe. One, I think, on the on their booklets, the Caribbean Stars Day booklet. I'm on the
yeah,
pic on that one picture. Yes. So what happened was that I was playing in the CNSL, and there was a little discrepancy between that league and the Puma League. So I didn't know this, but I was playing. I said, I'm gonna do both. So when you brought the Caribbean Stars to me, I was like, yeah, I'm 100% in for sure, definitely I'll play. It's playing with all the boys, Scarrow, Bay, all the Eric Fanis, all the boys. So I'm like, yeah, I'll totally play. Only to find out that when I joined Puma League, a ruling came out, and that was in I think it was 95,
95, yeah.
95, yes, that if you're playing in the CNSL, you are not allowed to play in the Puma League. So that's why I was there. I was going to play. And so now I have to make a decision. Um, do I play in a Puma League or do I play for Scarborough? For me, like, it wasn't easy because obviously I want to play with the Caribbean Stars, but I've been with George for so long, and that's my coach. And he said, my son, like that year, Parma was coming here. Parma was the Barcelona of this era. So they were coming here, and that game was going on. And if you played in the Puma League, you were not allowed to play in that game. So now we're talking about playing against guys like Benarivo, Gianfranco Zola, Stoichkov, Asprilla, Brolin, Fernando Couto, Inzaghi, Buffon was on the bench. Like, so we're playing against some ballers, some like they were the top team at the time. Like Stoichkov won the Golden Boot that year, or the Ballon d'Or, whatever it was that year. So we're talking about playing against ballers that we watch on TV every week. And so now to not play in that game, I couldn't do that. Like this wasn't something like this is a chance. That was like the biggest highlight of my life. That was a chance I couldn't take. So I ended up staying. I had to tell you, obviously, I couldn't play no more because of that situation, and stayed with the Scarborough.
Yeah, and when you brought that to me a little while back, it made sense because I remember I wasn't too much in the game because being on the executive of the CISL, the Puma League,
Yes,
it didn't
you
really,
were.
I had to make it happen, right?
Yes, you did.
So
Yes, I remember.
we didn't really care, but knowing your allegiance with the Astros, not even just the Palmer game also, but the allegiance you had there, and they were treating you almost like family. So now after the fact, that's how I figured out, okay, all right. Because before I go, where did Rene go? I don't understand what happened. Because sometimes when somebody disappears, you want to know if it had some disagreement or whatever. And I couldn't recall
Yeah,
anything like
it
that,
was,
right?
it was
So
there was nothing like that. It was just honestly, it was George, my coach. Like he's like he made me part of his family. Like he calls me his son. So I couldn't leave.
so how was the game? How was the game?
That game was like I've never played anything like that. Oh, I mean I did the year after, but That game itself, that was, I can't even explain it. It was just no words can explain. That it was.
What position you played?
I played stopper sleeper. Because we did so well that year, '95 Astros, they took our coaching staff, they took our training staff, and I ended up being captain of the game, captain of the team like there. So we I'll never forget. We walked in, we went to varsity stadium.
So wait. Let's take this slow.
All right.
Rene Martin was the captain of the CNSL. It's an all-star team
Our team, yeah.
against
Yes.
Parma.
Against Parma.
Is that reading right?
That's reading right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So it was so I'll never forget. We walked onto this. We had dinner with them the night before. I think. Yeah, we had dinner with them the night before. So the day of now, went to the field. We did our warm up. The stadium's empty. People are coming in. They're fine. But we went out there, did our warm up. Went back in the change room. Got ready for the game. So we're in the tunnel now. I'll never forget this. Because Gary DeLeon was on the team too. So it's my boy from time. Like we've been together. We've been playing together since I was 19. So he's on the team as well. So we're went to the game together. So we're giddy. We're playing. We watch these guys on TV last. Like we're giddy. Like kids in a candy store. Like we're playing against Parma. Like what? You know what I mean? So we're in the tunnel now. I'll never forget this. So we're in the tunnel. I'm lined up in front. And the referees are there. They haven't come in the tunnel yet. So I'm standing there, and then I turned over my left shoulder, and who do I see? Stoichkov. So I look down, and I'm like, holy, this is Stoichkov. Like, I'm standing beside a legend right now. This is Stoichkov. And then you see Zola. Then you see Benarivo, and you see Fernando Couto, and like, oh my goodness, like what's going on? So look at Gary, and we're just giddy right now. Like we're standing beside these guys. You know what I mean? It was amazing, and I'll never forget it. I mean, we lost 5-0, but the game itself, it was just. I'll never forget the first tackle I put on, and it's not, you respect the guys, but when I hit that field, I'm playing no matter what. So the very first tackle I put on was on Zola, and I was a little late, so he gave me little words in Italian. I didn't understand what he was saying. The referee warned me, so the ball went to him, and I remember I sprinted there, and I slide tackle, I tried to intercept it, but I caught him. And so, yeah, he told me off in Italian, and then the referee warned me. He's like, hey, my friend, give me a start, settle down. I'm like, sorry, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, it was just amazing. And I'm 2 points I got caught watching the game. And it's hard not to, because I remember forget, Stoichkov was on their half of the field, and he must have sent a bomb to Zola. And Zola's in stride. I remember Rich was right beside him. Rich Alexander was right beside him. And Zola caught it in stride. And I'm like, and as he caught it in stride, he started dribbling one time. I'm like, oh my goodness, did anyone see that? You know what I mean? We're watching the game like, the man didn't break stride. And he started dribbling, and then you have to get back in the game and play. But it was honestly an amazing game. Probably one of the highlights of my life, playing such a big crowd, and I had a lot of friends there, and it was amazing. It was one of the highlights of my life, my career playing soccer, playing against Parma.
So besides playing against Parma, did you play any other international games?
So and probably that's one of the highlights. So the next highlight of probably my career is playing at Birchmount Stadium against Diego Maradona. So in the league we played in the CNSL, Lalo played for Toronto Italia, and I was still with Astros at the time, and he came to visit his brother, and so they decided to put together an all-star game against the CNSL All-Stars and Diego Maradona and Lalo. And yeah, that there, like imagine playing against arguably one of the best players in the world at Birchmount Stadium. That moment was just as good as the Parma. Like it was electrifying. The atmosphere was electrifying. They had stands behind Birchmount Stadium. Like I've never seen Birchmount Stadium so packed. Like there was.
They added stands too, right?
They had stands in the back. Yes, I remember. Yeah, and the fans. It was Argentina fans everywhere. It was just drums, dancers. It was electrifying. Like you couldn't ask for anything better in a game like that.
So knowing did you get a tackle in?
Okay, so this is the story. So all the years now, I've been. So Greg Drakes used to tell me all the time. He's like, "Yo, you got beat by Maradona bad." I'm like, "No, I didn't. It wasn't me. It was somebody else, right?" I always kept saying, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me." Like there was no way. I didn't. I don't remember this happening at all. And then this year, Rich Alexander, he played for Toronto Italia that game. He sent me a video. So I'm looking at the video, and it's number 3, and I'm like, that's weird. That looks like me. And I'm like, nah, that's not me. He's like, So I zoom in on the video now, and it's like, so it happens to be me. And what Maradona does, so we're in midfield now. Like me and him, 1v1. I'm in my stands. I'm 23 years old. 95. Yeah, I'm 23 years old, 24 years old, and I'm in my stands. I'm in my prime. So I again, when I play, I respect you, but I'm playing. So I'm in my stands, midgets. And I don't go for fakes because I'm all about ball. So I guess because the moment, the atmosphere, the man stepped to the left, I jumped right, and the man like pushed right through my legs and went around me. I'm like, no. So if you see me grabbing at air, trying to grab Diego Maradona, but I'm like, you know what? I denied that for so many years, so many years. But I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I can say I got megged by Diego Maradona. I have no problem with that. I am good with that. I can
Exactly.
I got megged by Diego Maradona.
To know
I
you
really
in
like him.
proximity. So there
Right?
you go.
So yeah, that's those two biggest highlights of my life. My soccer career can't get any better than that.
All right. So and those were the two international, no other international game or anything like that.
No, that was it.
Okay. When I saw you now, when I get a real good look, I don't know what stage of your career that was with Woodbridge. And as you always remind me, I had no qualms of making you the Minister of Defense in that
Yes, I remember
Ontario Cup
that.
final, in that Ontario Cup final. Now, that was after that CNSL career. You went back to the OSL and stuff with
Yes, I went back to the yeah, I went back to OSL. Yes, I went back to OSL um with Woodbridge. So what happened was my coach, they actually want to take a different direction. So my coach said, Woodbridge offered him a spot to coach a team. So he took myself, Gary DeLeon, Greg Drakes, and Audley Taft with him. He's like, I'm leaving. Do you guys want to come? And we're like, wherever you go, coach, we're there with you. Like, you know what I mean? So we followed him there, and then he brought the Mike DeLucas, the Martin, Johnny Anisis, and so in his Spanish guys and the Caribbean guys and brought us together and then mixed with their team. Centipede, Bobby, all these guys, and we created our own. He created his own team there, and that's how we started Woodbridge. And then that year, we went undefeated. The whole idea, from what I understand, was Woodbridge was supposed to go into the CNSL. Somewhere along the line, that got canceled out. So I don't know what happened there, backdoor politics, whatever it is, but that got canceled out and went up staying in the OSL, which is fine. So we stayed in the OSL and we played there and we strived there. We did really well. Like we had a very good team, like a very, very good team. We won the Ontario Cup in 2000 and won the bronze medal in nationals that year as well. We're the only team to be undefeated in nationals and not get the gold medal, if that makes sense to you.
Okay, yeah, that format is a little.
It was off, yeah.
That format, but so that meant when I saw you with the GS in the final, that was 2 years after, because if that was 2000, the millennium, that was 2002 when 2005.
No, it was 5. It was a couple years after, yeah.
So that form, you maintained that form, or you hit form, or what was happening with your game then? Because you were on top of your game at that time.
I was honestly, me, Midge, like when I didn't break form. I don't know. I don't know how to break form. I still play. Back then I was still in the game. I was still competitive. I think for me, if I stay competitive and my legs are still going, I'm still always gonna be that minister of defense, you like to call. Like even, you know what I mean? I can't stop that. That's just me. That's in my nature. I don't mind being that at all.
Is that the passion? Is that passion, or is that making sure you stop things, or?
It's passion. It's making sure I stop things. Just when you get on the field, like we play, and all now, like even now when I play with heart. I play with passion. I don't like losing now. Like even now, I turn 50 next year. I don't even now when I'm playing over 35 Ontario Cup, or we go with we have a traveling team. We go with them. We don't like losing. We're a bunch of guys who don't like losing, and Firebrace is on there too. You know us already. We have a passion behind us.
I wouldn't like to see you up against Firebrace in the final, because the passion of both opposing side there now.
Yeah,
You ever
it could
played
be.
against Fire in a big
No,
game?
actually, I played against him once, and I can't lie, he had my number that game. He because he knows me very well. He knows everything I do. He knows my habits.
Yeah.
So he caught me twice that game, and he put two in the back of the net.
Yeah, Fire's
From
not easy.
Yeah, he's not easy. Yeah,
He's not easy.
I'll give him that. He had me that. He had the one time I played against him. He had me. He got me good.
So based on that final, I think we were speaking a while back also when we know certain things happened there, which was
Yes.
kind of strange to me because Scratchy is a guy I covered even with the league in Teesdale down there with
Mhm.
kickers and stuff. And
Yes.
listen from your lineup, and I mean, less the merrier for me in terms of back in GS again that final against Woodbridge. But you and we spoke about this, and you was having hindsight and saying maybe you guys should have maybe mentioned something because
Yeah.
you did it now.
I think honestly, I wish we did because that game, like I said, I think the semifinal Scratch scored 2 goals in the semis. He's the leading goal scorer on our team, and he doesn't start the final. That makes no sense. Like it was just baffling. So when
And
we're
it
starting
was
to line
not
up,
a discipline thing. It was not.
no, nothing. We just literally nothing. It was nothing there. It was just we have no clue. We were like and I'll never forget in the change room, we were sitting there and he's been on line. So we're stoked now because you know what I mean. We got Scratchy Firebase up top, with Gary on one side. We have like we have a solid team. Like this is our Ontario Cup to win. This is our second Ontario Cup. We not that we had in the bag, but we knew we had a extremely good chance to win this
I
game.
think you were favored.
Like you know what I mean. Like who's like Scratchy and Firebase up top in the prime? Like that's hard to mark. So yeah. So when the lineup came up and there was no Scratchy, we kind of looked at each other. I'm like, what? Like me and Gary looked at each other like, what's going on right now? Like, you know what I mean? Because these guys asked us to come back. That I'll never forget. They like Mario called us so many times to come back. We weren't. I was still at the time I was at GS, and Mario called us so many times to come back. And, I'm not sure, Mario, whatever, da da da. And then I finally went back. And in the final now, we come and this is what happens in the final. Scratches and starts, and we're like, Gary and I wish we did say something. We should have.
Yeah. Did you ever play with Malcolm?
Yeah, I played with Markham in over 35. So after CSL, all that happened. Bites and them said, they want to form our, we heard about the Ontario Cup going on. St. Catharines is winning it, and we're like, like this over 35 Ontario, we're all over 35. Let's try this thing. So we put together this team with Willie, Bay, Warren, Alvis, Gary, Chris Rowe, Paul Moore, Zoran, like Peter Gassis, a whole bunch of names, just ballers who are over 35. And we put together a team and we won 3 times, won Ontario Cup 3 times out of 4 years. And in the next coming years, from 35 to 39, won Ontario Cup 3 times, lost once. Won nationals all 3 times too. So it's it was a good couple of years. And then everyone started reading. So I want to say we set the bar for, because everyone's like, yo, these guys are playing over 35 and coming in and winning Ontario Cup and getting to travel. So what soccer team is like to travel? So now all of a sudden now everyone, we started the snowball effect started to happen. Everyone wanted to put over 35 team. So now the over 35 now is a big tournament. It's not a 16 tournament or it's a big tournament where everyone wants to put over 35 team in because we're all over 35 and it's a way to travel if you win, right? So
it would be a big tournament when you have marquee players throughout their career reach that age too.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone is that reach that age. I mean, all the GS young guys, the teams from Ottawa, all over.
So are you part of that team that won in Barbados?
Yeah, Familia, yes. That was another team we decided to form. Just a bunch of friends from Woodbridge, Woodbridge and GS. So Mike, Martin, myself, Firebrace, guys who we played against, the guys we played with. Just formed together a team, over 14 that we love to travel. A bunch of friends, and we have our energy and our vibe is just it's unmatched. Like there's nothing I can't complain about the team. That's why we named it La Familia. Actually, Firebase came up with that team name. And it's family. Like we are family. Like we're just a big, we're a big group of guys, and we're 20 strong now, and we like to travel. We're going to Florida in January for another over 40 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we come out with it on top of that. Next we're gonna do Barbados again. I think the year after we want to try to do Las Vegas. So, Serge Marchand's on the team. He helps run the team with Ronnie right foot. So yeah, it's a good bunch of guys, and we consider each other brothers, and um, it's it's a vibe. It's a vibe. We believe in vibes, and if you have a good vibe and a good family, I've grown up. That's what. So one thing George did teach me, and I try to implement on my teams that I coach as well, and just why we are La Familia the way it is, that without a good family, without a strong family, you can't succeed as well as you'd like to without a strong family, like for soccer. So even in soccer, our family is so strong. We have each other's back, and the cohesion, and everything is just it's on point because we're so tight. And I believe that. I've done that with my team's coaching, and you know, it's I believe a vibe in a family is important when you're playing soccer. It's not just about soccer itself. It's about you know later life.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean,
you got a touch of that with the GS and now with Woodbridge, with La Familia and stuff. Speaking of the coaching, you stayed with George. You seem to like something what George put together as a coach, nurturing you. I saw a congratulatory note went out with your name in it when I called you to congratulate
yes.
you. Could you enlighten me? And I thought you were the coach in terms of, was that what team won, or is it Ontario Cup, or what did they win?
So they went on the OPDL.
Yeah.
So they won the OPDL championship. So
Male,
the team,
female, what age group was that?
so 2007 boys. So literally this team, I helped coach out. I was assistant coach last year, and because I had to, I coach my daughter, my son, I had to step back and just be a third coach. If I can come out, I come and help them. But for me personally, I've had these 2007 boys since they were like 6 years old. Some of them I coached when they were 4. So I've groomed this team all through grassroots, and I've pushed, and it's amazing because I've pushed the ideals that George taught me onto this team, and that's why the team is stuck together for so long. I've had like 2 or 3 kids leave, but for the most part, the core stuck together.
What's the name of the
And
team?
Markham FC.
And that's
So
under 14? Under
on the yeah, so they went under 14 OPDL. So for the most part, the parents believed in my ideals, just like I believe in George, and they stuck with me all from 7 years old to 14 till I hit the OPDL. And then I handed the reins over to Coach Andrew Cairns. He runs the boys, and he got a good group of boys already family oriented. They're already tight. And then he got the new boys that came in. It's almost like the new boys that came in was amazing because the new boys that came in, they were like, it's like they were with the group for years because they just gelled, and everyone just it came together, and they played their hearts out, and you ask them to leave it on the field, those boys leave it on the field.
that's
So
that's the challenge. That's the
you know what I
challenge.
mean?
Yeah.
That's what it is, and they have each other's back all the time. Like and that's how it's supposed to be. That's for me. That's football. Like, and they worked hard and they won the OPDL. I am so proud of them, and I love the fact, and it was touching to know I had a hand in that, even if it was the lead up to it,
So
right? So
seeing that you had some success in coaching and stuff, and you do you have any kids?
I have 2. My daughter is 8. My son is 14.
Do they play the game at all? Or?
Yeah, they've been playing. They've both been playing since they were 3. That's how I got into coaching. My son Elijah, I coached him from when he was 3, and I coached. It's funny. I coached him when he was 3 and 4, and then I think at 5 years old I couldn't do because the work was got a little busy, and I said, I'll take a backseat and come watch him, whatever. And obviously knowing the game at 3 and 4, you show them things, so they're getting better as the years go on. And so it wasn't a thing where they had fun, they enjoyed it, but they were always on the field, right? So the one day I'll never forget, I came to the soccer field to watch my son at the training, and there was no fault of their own, their parent coaches. I mean, the parent coaches, so they get a pamphlet of what to do for the kids, play games, this and that. And I came to the field, and that's one coach for 6 kids. So I come to the field now, and I see 3 kids. And I'm like, yo, where's Elijah? You know what I mean? And where the field we're at, there's hills, there's parks, all kinds of stuff, right? So I'm like, yo, where is Elijah? I can't find him, can't see him nowhere. So I look and I see these 3 boys rolling down a hill. One happened to be Elijah, and 2 of them were twins on the team. And they're having a blast rolling down the hill. I'm like, what are they doing on the hill? Like, why are they not on the field? You know, they're doing their own thing. And I say, you know what? No fault of his own. It's, you know, it's hard to manage. You know, they're 5 year olds. I'm like, from here on in, I'm coaching my son. So from then, I just started coaching Elijah. From then, I coached him since then till now. A funny story that before I get into Sale is that he went on grade 9 this year, and I said I've been coaching him since he was 3, right? So in grade 9 this year, he played for the school team, brother Andre. They actually won the championship too. And so some of the 07 boys on the OPDL team, Markham team, they're
Yeah.
on that team well. So there was a double championship for them back to back weeks. And so my son was on that team as well. So they won the championship this year for the first time in grade 9s. And it was the first time, midget, I swear, in 11 years that I got to sit on the other side of the field as a parent and watch my son play.
How was that for you?
That was honestly, it was the best feeling in the world. Like I've never had a chance to do it. I'm always coaching, I'm always on the sideline with the boys, and just to be on the side with the parents and just just sit with the dads and watch the boys play. It was so fulfilling. I'm like, this is what it feels like to be over here. And I didn't like obviously knowing obviously I know a lot of the boys on the school team, so obviously I'm throwing a little coaching points here and there. I can't get that out of me, but just to sit there and watch him play, it was amazing. I'm like, this is fantastic.
What position he plays? Oh,
He's attacking mid.
they're still putting them in different positions.
No, he's an attacking mid. He's attacking me. He's got the finesse. He doesn't have the grit like I do, but he's got the finesse.
Yeah.
My daughter, yeah, my daughter on the other hand now, she's me to the T. Like she plays in the back. I just started coaching her this year, so I thought I was gonna be done, but I can't not coach. I can't coach him and not when she's of rep age. I can't not coach her. So
Exactly.
now I'm coaching her on the rep team, Markham rep team. I have 12 girls, very good team. They look very promising from now. I mean, but Selah, she is me totally defense, minister of defense. She is my minister of defense. Like she does not like to get the beat. She doesn't like to get beat, and she takes it personal when she gets beat. When they get scored on,
Yeah.
she takes it very personal, and she's up for a challenge. Like yesterday, we played Unionville, and Unionville, through the whole summer they beat us. And there's this one girl on the team that's very good. Unionville is a very skilled team. They dribble a lot, compliments to the brothers over there. They're doing a very good job with the girls. And they have what's one girl who's very skillful on the ball. And Selah got so excited they were playing Unionville, and she wanted that challenge. And she stood up to that challenge, and we beat them 2-1. And she played lights out defense. Like she's total me. Like she doesn't want to get beat by anybody.
Two things you said. We beat them to one. So are you part of that organization with your daughter?
Yeah, I coach her too.
All right. Official?
Official coach. I'm the head coach of that team, and I'm the head coach of my son's team on the CSL team.
Oh, well, I look
So
forward for something in 2022.
yeah,
Come and cover you guys and see exactly what's going on.
no, absolutely. Because
So again, it's nice to kind of know that you're fully rounded here now and you're sticking to your responsibilities and stuff. That's nice.
yes, you have. You know what? We've done a lot as players. We got to start giving. We got to get back. You have to get back now, and give the knowledge that I learned. So knowledge I learned at 19, they're learning at 8 and 9 and 14. I learned all the stuff from George at 19, 20. They're learning it at an earlier age, which is beneficial to them. They won't have to wait till they're so old to learn. They'll have it. They already have that ingrained in them when they're 19, 20.
Okay. We're talking about the gelling now, how important the family aspect is, the coaching, the gelling, and now we're going on the international circuit with the Canada program.
Mm-hmm.
What you thought, obviously it's a young team, so
Yes.
gelling is important. You're into the youth program, right? Coaching is important. You've been under George. So
Yes.
how you look at this, the Canada program, what you think the prognosis moving forward?
Honestly, someone said it best the other day. I was watching some of my buddies said it. He mentioned it. He's like, it's the first time he's ever watched the Canadian team, and he felt like they're playing with some life, some heart, some zeal. And I'm like, it's so true. Like um, normally when you watch the Canadian team, they play, but I find this team has a little chip, a little edge or something about them. Obviously the demographics are a little different. I find like back in the day, all the national teams always out west, Vancouver. Now they're now we're inside, like we're in here, Toronto, like we're around the surrounding areas, and it's nice. It's nice to see. It's they got some young guys and they're playing with heart. They want it, and it's something different to see that we've never seen before, and I love to see that. And it's inspiring for the young kids because to see them the way they're playing and how they're playing, that's important because they can strive for that, and they're playing great soccer. They're playing, and it's not much. It's just for me, it's a lot about playing with the heart, playing for the crest. You could have the skill all you want, but the skill matches nothing if it doesn't match your feeling and your passion for the game, and your passion and your eagerness to win. Like the skill means nothing these days unless you have that. And I find I'm glad they have that. They need that because I'm not and I find a lot of kids like we're a different generation. Don't get me wrong. The kids these days have better techniques, better skill than we ever have. But I find sometimes, and not this group, not the Canadian group, but I find sometimes the heart is what the passion is missing from the new generation of kids. Like you need to have that passion, and if you match their passion with the skill they have, like the Canadian team right now, you're gonna get good results. And that's what the Canadian team has. They're playing with passion, they're playing with heart, and they got the skill to go along with it. So that's why I think they're doing very well, and I'm proud to see them doing very well. It's good.
Yeah, well, as I think one of the ingredients we talked about going into what you just explained there that seem to be missing is the coach has some passion. And
Yes.
the passion, as you're saying, it comes from, because to me, forget the ability and stuff, as you say, the passion. What that team is doing is defending together.
That's the passion, that's the love, that's the drive. You need that. Like you can't just go in there and just play. You have to like, this is my house. That's my ball. I want my ball back. Give me my ball back. That's how you have to. That's how the game has to be played. That's my ball. Like you know what I
That's
mean?
what
Like
you do. That's why.
but that's why. And I was about to say that
passion
because
is like that.
it's funny you say that because sometimes I'll be like I'm playing. I always like have say it, and I sometimes feel like give me that ball. You know what I mean? And I do it. Like, cause I want that ball's my ball. I like, and that's the passion, and that's where I get that from. I'm like, I can't stop that. It's just, and that's what I love about the Canadian team too. Like, that's their ball. They want that ball back.
Yeah, but it's funny. Your game is very aggressive.
Yeah, it is a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you see, a coach, if you're playing for a coach, he can fix that.
Yeah, and that's what George did.
Coach just have to explain certain things to you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
because it's hard, you don't want to nullify that passion.
No.
So you have to use a little more head.
A little more head, yes.
And that's why I asked you from the wing back to the stopper how we felt, what caused that change, because that's a whole head space difference too.
Yeah, it is.
That aggression you might have on the wing back where it's one-on-one on the line saving you on one side so you can handle this side. Yeah. And everything is out of bounds you have to worry about. In the middle, it's different.
There's no savior. So that's why I think that's why my game elevated, because now there's no outline to save me. It's gotta be me. It's all me. And like it's just that's my ball. I want that. I love the challenge. I love it.
Yeah, and add to that now your fitness level. What you always consider in terms of your fitness, because as I told you, I saw you the other day, and probably could see you look good. You seem like you're taking care of yourself. Your fitness level, based on the game I saw you playing, how you kept yourself, and because the game you have there, you need to have a certain level of fitness. Or else you have to change your game.
No, you do, definitely do. I've had to tweak it a little bit. There's times when I'm not as fit as I used to be, but I want to say like right now I've been playing a lot, so my fitness levels once I don't get any injuries, because guys always make fun of me. Like these days I'm quad injury prone. Like they make fun of me all the time. The brace Ronnie, they're like, Ronnie came to me the other day. He pulled his quad. He's like, came to me like in the doctor, like, how do you heal this? I'm like, buddy. He's like, well, you're the quad master. Like, I pull my quads all the time, right? So it's like, once those are good, I'm good. Like I feel good. My fitness is still good. And again, like when you get older now, you got to play a lot smarter. Instead of running straight at guys, I take angles. Like, I got to pull up the protractor and take that angle as opposed to running straight at them anymore, right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, you play smart. But I mean, unless you're 20 something, like I'll take a 30. I could play against 35-year-olds. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I still have that aggression. I still have that mentality. And when I'm on the field, I don't feel tired. Like, I don't know if my mind just blocks it out, but I don't feel tired. I just go. It's just,
Well, that Renee, keep up that type of shape and stuff, and you take care and stay safe.
thank you, Alden. I appreciate it. Midget, I appreciate the interview, and thank you very much.
All right, so you take
All
care.
right.
All
You
right.
too. Take care. Okay, bye.